Hello and welcome to my channel. So today in this video I'm going to show you how you can make a simple file managing script in Python. Friends, if you are a beginner in Python and you have just started out with Python, maybe you have learned about variables, list, for loops and some conditional statements, then this project is for you because this project doesn't require any kind of framework to know, but we need couple of modules to work with. So friends, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the steps. I have been always telling people that when you are trying to create any kind of application, you must break down the process into several steps. So here I have wrote some steps, and we are going to create this application by following these steps. So the first step is to import modules like OS and shuttle. And for that I'm going to write here import OS. You can either import the modules separately or together. Import shuttle. Now what we are going to do is follow our second step, and here it says create folders for category. Friends, in our computer system we have several kinds of file formats, right? We have audio files, we have video files, we have doc files, we have text files, we have programming files like .py or maybe .js files. So we have to get all of these files and place them in folders as their category. So here I have an experimental folder, and you can see here the app.py file, which is my main application file, and you can see some folders like audio, images, programming, video. Okay, so let's think, if this is a programming file, this is going to be moved into my programming folder. If this is a text file, then it's going to be moved inside of text folder. So I don't have a text folder right here, so let me make one. Create folder and let me name it as text folder. Okay, so let me see what is our next step. Okay, so set the source directory and set folders directory. Friends, to get the source directory, we can either copy our experimental directory or we can use the os.get working directory method. But here I'm going to just copy our experimental folders directory because we are going to do all of our operation here. So let me copy this. Now let me open the application file, and the first thing I'm going to do is create a variable called source, and inside that variable we are going to paste the path of the experimental folder or the directory. Now just like that, we have to get the paths of the rest of the folders. So let me open the audio folder and let me copy the path of the audio folder. And just like source, the path is going to be inserted in a variable. So let me call it as audio folder, and inside double quotation I'm going to paste the audio folder path, and I'm going to do the same thing for the rest of the folders. So we have images folder here, and open up my app file. I have images folder variable. Let me paste the path of the images. Let me open the programming folder and copy the path. Programming folder. Okay, and we have two folders here, the text folder and the remaining folder is video folder. Text folder, and video folder. Okay, so I have copied the path of every folder, and let me see what is our next step. So look for files in the current directory, and to look for files in my current directory we just have to use a method from the OS module. So let me create first a variable called files, and it will be assigned to os.list lister maybe. I don't remember the right method here, but we can check that later. So os.list there, and here I'm going to call the source directory because I want this function to look for files in my experimental folder. Okay, so let me save the file and let me check if my application is working correctly. And to do that I'm going to open up my terminal here, and my terminal is opening up. Okay, so now we'll write here python 3 because I'm working inside Linux app.py file, which is my application file, and I'm going to hit enter to check if my file is working correctly. Okay, so it says that module error, no module name shuttle. I don't know why it is showing me, so let me check if the file I do have in my Python. So if I say import shuttle, I think the right spelling of the shuttle will be TIL. Okay, so we have a typo error here. So let me just fix the typo error. Let me save the file and let me check if my application is working perfectly. So first I'm going to quit from the Python shell. Let me clear the screen and let me call python3 app.py, which is my application file, and let me hit it enter to run the application to check if everything is working. So as you can see, we don't have anything, which means that there is no error in the file, which means all of these codes are working correctly. And I always recommend everyone to do this, checking your files manually at every step. So let me save the file. Okay, it's already saved. Let me check what is my next step is. Create several file formats list. Okay, so now here I am going to create several file formats list. So in order to do that, let me call it as audio file formats, and inside this list I'm going to write file formats of the audio files like mp3, and WAV, just for example. And we have doc files, doc file formats equals docx, for example. Text file formats, so we have txt file, and we have other file formats as well, like video file format, video file formats, and inside this course I will write video file format like mp4 or maybe mkv, and another file format will be for our programming files. So programming file formats will be equal to, for example, like py file, and let's say JS, CPP for C++. Okay, so now we have a different file formats list here. So let me comment it out as file formats list. And let me give another comment here which is called directory paths. Okay. So the next thing I have to do is to get all the file extension and move them to destination and ignore app.py file. Okay, so we have to use a for loop here in order to fetch all of the files in from our source directory, and we will have the data of those files, and then we will check if their extension is matching to our list formats, and if one of the format is matching, then it will be moved to its destination folder. Okay, so let me create a for loop here for file in files, and remember we have to get the extension of files, so I have to check for the extension for file in files. File extension ext equals file dot split and split by the dot, so we can get the format of the file, and we'll use -1 as the index, so it will refer to the format. Okay, so now we have to create conditions so the program can understand which file to move in where. Okay, so let me write if condition here. So if file extension maybe I can write like this: file extension in audio file formats, then I can use the shuttle module to move my file, and this function takes two arguments. The first argument is going to be which file to move, so move file, and where to move. So if audio file, then we will move that file in audio folder. Okay, so audio folder. Now let me check if this is working, and to do that I am going to save that file, and I'm going to import an audio file here in my directory to check if my application is working correctly. Okay, so you can see a mp3 file here in my experimental folder, and now I'm going to run the application to check if it's sending my mp3 file in my audio folder. So let's hit enter, and it says inconsistent use of tabs and space. Okay, I think actually there is a problem in Genie text editor. Sometimes it doesn't take indentation correctly. So what we'll have to do is, let me just give it a 4 space of tab, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and let me save it, and let me run the application again. So it didn't throw us any error, and let me check our experimental folder, and as you can see there is no mp3 file here, which means the program has moved my mp3 file in my audio folder. So let me open the audio folder, and you can see the mp3 file has been moved to my audio folder, which means that our logic is working correctly. So I'm going to do the same thing for other file formats as well. So let me just copy it, or maybe I can just write down the whole process here. If file extension is in doc file format. Doc file formats, then okay, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 shuttle dot move that file where, obviously in my doc file folder. So doc, we don't have a doc folder right here, so what I'm going to do is I will move this to my text folder. Okay, now let me just copy this. I think it would be better if I copy, because video is getting longer. So let me copy and paste other things. Okay, so if my file formats in doc formats, so it will move the format file in my text folder. Now if my file extension is in text file formats, so it will move my file into text folder. If my file extension is in video file formats, it will move to video folder. Okay, so let me write down video folder. Okay, and let me do the copy paste again here, and this will be our programming file formats. Okay, so let me write here programming file formats. It will move our file into programming folder. Okay, so these are all our logics, and we have to run the application to test if these are working correctly. But before getting any files, I will just check last time if my application is working correctly. So it didn't throw us any error, which means that my program is working correctly. Now I will import other files here. So we have already copied the mp3 file. I will copy the other files in my experimental folder to check if the application is working correctly. Okay, so we have actually an error here, guys, and the error was that it actually took my application folder to somewhere. Let me check it. It actually took my application folder in the programming directory, so I have to actually create a logic here so it doesn't take my application file in the programming folder. Okay, so before doing that, let me just paste out other files. Let me just cut my application file and paste in my experimental folder. So let me go back to my application, and here I will write a logic. So the first thing is I'm going to do, okay, we have maybe an error here. Okay, so again save that. Okay, so let me save this and let me replace this. So this is what happened when it actually removed the application file. Okay, so first of all, let me check. So let me check if the file. Okay, so let me first create a variable here, which is called the main file. Main file is going to be the app.py file. Okay, and it's checking the programming files format. Okay, so I can write down one of the logic here. Okay, so if file equals to, so how I'm going to do that? Okay, let me just give it like index. So get the file index, get file index get file index, and let me say if file is equal to file index. Okay, so let's say files dot index of the main file. So the first thing it is going to do is get the index of our main file from the files array. Okay, so now what we'll have okay friends, let me just think about this. So first is getting the index of our main file from the files. Okay, then I can say delete the file. Okay, it's a little bit difficult, but let me try this. Delete that file in my file. So it has delete that file, delete that file. So I'm going to do that. Let me say files, and we have the index, right? Get a file index. Okay, I think this will clear out a file index. So get the file index, files index of our main file, and then it will delete the main file from the array, and then it will check for the extensions of the files of the remaining files in my array. So let me save this, and let's try to run our applications. Okay, so let me run the application. I think it's going to work, and it will just ignore our app.py file. So I don't see my app.py file here. Where is it? Yeah, it's right here. Okay, cross finger guys, let's see if the magic happens. Okay, so something didn't add up. For some reason it's not ignoring the app.py file. So let me just cut this again and let me paste it. Although you can see that the application is working correctly. It's taking the py file and it's moving to my programming folder. Okay, so let me save this file, and let me try to figure it out how we can actually set the file. Okay, if main file is in files, then delete files, get the index, main file is in files, delete. So get the index of the main files from files. If, let me write here a condition here, if main file in files. Okay, then okay, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, and let me save the file. So we have the index of the file, main file, and then it's checking if the main file is in files array, then it will delete the file files, it will get the index. Okay, let me save this, and I think it should work now, but we don't have any dummy files here. So let me insert the XLX and PNG for my images. Okay, so we have actually forgot to add the images file format. Okay, so let me copy this. So we have images file format. So let's say images file formats equals PNG, JPG, PNG in small letters, or JPEG. Okay. And doc file formats, we can add the XLX format here, XLSX. And let me copy this. Let me paste this. So if file extension is in images file formats, then move that file into my image folder, I guess. So image folder, and I have the image folder variable here. Okay, let me save this and let me try if the application is working correctly. Okay, last time hit enter. So it throws us an error. It says app.py is not in list. Get file in this. Okay, I don't know why it didn't file. It should have found. Okay, let me check this. Sorry guys for this inconvenience, but we have to fix this, right? So let me say if main file, which is my app.py file, in this, then get the file index and then delete that file from files, and then it will check other extensions of the files. Okay. Okay, I think I have a problem here. Let me save this. Okay, so the file has been saved, and let me run the application, and I'm putting my cross finger here if it is going to work. So it still says that okay, so we have tab error here, guys. Let me fix this. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, and I'm going to do this do that for this as well. So 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, save. Okay, I think if main file is equal to file, if file is equal to file, okay, it's going to take this format, and if file is equal to main file. Okay, if file is in file. Okay, if file is equal to main file, if file is equal to main file, then get the file index of that file from the files array, and then delete that, and then it should work now. Let me put my cross fingers again, and let's see if it's working. Okay, for some reason it's still not working. I have to figure it out how to just ignore this app.py file. Okay, let me save this. So file is fetching every file, and if the file is equal to main file. Okay, so instead of that, let me check if main file is in files. If the main file is in file, delete file, but it is actually okay. So I think I have to use this outside my for loop. So if the main file is in my files, because I am already fetching the files, so I can use this function here, so it will clear the name of the app.py file from my list. Okay, now Genie has an indentation problem, so I'm just going to insert indentation 1 2 3 4 4 space 1 2 3 4. Okay, so now what I'm going to do that let me get this image file here for this example. So let me paste it out here, and I think my application is going to work now correctly. So if I hit enter, so now you can see guys that it's ignoring our main file because that file name has already been cleared from my list, which means that my application or our application is working correctly. So this was all. So this is how you can just make a simple file managing script in Python. Friends, I know this is a very small script, this is a very small program, but for beginners this is a very nice project. And I remember that after my first guessing game project, I actually landed in this project because to me this was very interesting. You can see the magic of programming here, right? Okay, so anyway, I hope you like the videos. Instead, although I made several mistakes here, but I hope that you can forgive me for my mistakes because I wasn't aware that it's going to take my application file here, or I actually forgot that it's going to take my application py file also in my programming folder. And although it happens, but I showed you the logic how you can just make the program ignore our application file. Okay, so I hope you like the video, and although I did some mistake, I am asking you to support the channel by clicking the subscribe button for my latest videos, and you can also hit a thumbs up if you like the video, and let me know through the comments what other projects I can work on, and I will try to do that. So for today, sharing everyone with you, goodbye and have a great day. Thank you.